chronic instability.
How long have you been married, Mrs. Summers?
This time or last time?
You were married before? What happened then?
Just didn't work out.
2 failed marriages, that isn't good. What went wrong? Were you, well, didn't you like being tied down?
No, it wasn't bad.
Were you bored with the housework?
No, I like a clean house.
Would you rather have been out drinking with the girls?
No, look, I'm not a boozer.
You mean you weren't drunk when you attacked young Jason?
Look, I don't want him for a lawyer. He's not going to help me.
Gail, you could face worse than that at the hearing. They're out to prove that you're an unfit mother.
Yeah, and so's he.
No, he's not. No, he's not. In 30 seconds, he's established that you're not a drunkard and that you don't neglect your home. Now, please sit down. And believe me, he knows what he's doing.
But they asked me about Jason. I won't know what to say. I heard him.
Mrs. Summers, the magistrate knows his arithmetic. 3 sick children, 5 and under, in a small flat.
How do you know they get sick?
At that age, there's always one down with something, especially when the mother is short of money to feed and clothe them adequately.
Yeah, well, Tim always spent more on beer than he did on us.
Did he help you with the children?
He's hardly ever home.
On the other hand, you were never out of the house. What happened to young Jason was almost inevitable, Gail. May I call you Gail? It's an established pattern in our community, child abuse. Everybody expects a young, inexperienced girl to be a good mother, but nobody bothers to train her. When she does lash out at the child, it's the ultimate crime. So bad, she won't even admit it to herself. But if she doesn't get help, next time she could really hurt the child.
I don't see where the help would come from.
There is help to be had. Parents Anonymous is one group. You just ring them when the pressure's building up.
Yeah, and they send in the police.
No, no. They listen. They advise. They take the pressure off. Now, to get back to the matter in hand, do you really want to keep your children?
Yeah, of course I do.
Good. Then buck up, and we'll give that husband of yours a run for his money.
You all right? It took a long time.
I had a cigarette.
He didn't try anything, did he?
Oh, look, just lay off me, will you? I'm all right.
All right, little Miss Panic Merchant, there's your money.
Where's the rest?
Oh, you'll get it. Now do I get $20 on razzmatazz?
You'll only do your dough. Only bookies get rich.
Only when I see the other 20.
There.
If you really want to make some money, you should find that cloth that's gone missing and flog it.
Are you saying I stole those bolts of cloth? Are you accusing me, you thieving slut? Just because you've got sticky fingers doesn't mean we're all tied with the same brush. Excuse me.
Jeez. Can't even open your mouth around here.
Handspan, 5 to 1. Don't muck about with the ticket, because I can remember what I put.
Miss Bennett, can I have my phone call now?
What do you mean, your phone call?
We're allowed one a week.
You can have it in the morning.
Oh, I've got to have it now. Mrs. Davidson said it was all right for me to ring Kevin during rec time.
I'll ask the governor, but don't be surprised if she says no.
No.
You're never going to have to get another player. I mean, three-handed poker's about as much good as a three-legged horse. How about you, B?
No, thanks. I'm not interested. Mrs. Davidson?
Yes?
It's Doreen Burns.
Well, what's wrong now?
Well, she insists she's entitled to a phone call.
Well, can't this wait till the morning?
I'd be very happy for it to wait till the morning, but she claims you gave her permission to make the call now.
Well, she hasn't had a phone call this week yet, has she?
Well, that isn't the point, is it?
Miss Bennett, if there is a point, I wish you would come to it.
Well, we all know she was trying to get Kevin Burns a job at Reynolds. Now, if she'd succeeded, she could have put the whole work release in jeopardy. Do you think she should be allowed to communicate with him under the circumstances?
Miss Bennett, we can hardly begrudge the girl a call to her husband.
If you'll excuse me for saying so, I don't think we should indulge her.
She can take the call in Paul Reed's office. Don't worry. She's been read the Riot Act. She won't try anything.
Aren't you going to supervise the call?
I'm sure I can leave that to you. Good night, Miss Bennett.
Mrs. Davidson said she could make a phone call. Is that convenient? Get on with it, Burns.
Here you go.
I don't know what Mrs. Davidson's thinking of, letting me make phone calls at all hours of the day and night.
Kevin? Oh, gee, it's nice to hear your voice. Yeah, I missed you too, love.
Hurry up, Burns.
Look, I can't talk now because Miss Bennett's breathing down my neck, but the lowest tender for the cartage contract is $300.
She can't do that. Get the phone from her.
So, if you put in one for $280 and you get round there first thing in the morning, you should get it. Got to go now, love. Bye.
You're going straight to solitary, and the governor can deal with you tomorrow. I told Mrs. Davidson she'd take advantage, but would she listen?
Well, you're always so right, Miss Bennett. I'm surprised we don't take notice of you more often.
Good night, Mr. Reed, and thanks for the phone call.
And get out of here. Go on.
Dear Ken, it was really great to get your letter. It's the first real letter I've ever had in here. I didn't expect to be remembered, but I must say I rather like it. It sounded so much like you, too. Straight from the shoulder, and no bulldust. You're really going to have to forgive this note. I'm a bit out of practice after all these years, and I always did write like a camel waltzes. Nothing's changed. Well, it never does in here. But then why am I telling you that? I think I hate the winter most of all.
Thank God for the laundry. At least it's warm. Hey, why don't you use the trolley?
No, it's too much trouble. You're really giving that pacemaker of yours a workout, aren't you?
She's loony. She was toting bolts of cloth around the factory as though she had a proper heart.
You know what she thinks? She thinks it's just when they put the pacemaker in, they took me heart out.
What do they do then?
They just put in a little machine, you know, and when your heart starts to slow down, it moves it along.
Does that mean you're bionic?
Only on Thursdays.
It's just like I said. You can't trust the likes of Doreen Burns.
If you have bad news, Miss Bennett, it can wait until I get to my office.
Yes, but she's in solitary.
I see. What happened?
She did exactly what she was warned about. Under my very nose, she told that husband of hers the lowest cartage tender at the factory. She'll get him in there yet.
Miss Knox, would you get Burns out of solitary and into the laundry?
I would have thought you'd kept her there at least a week.
Doreen is not a bad girl. I'll admit that in the past few weeks she's caused us more trouble than most of our hard cases. But that only means that something is wrong somewhere. I'm not prepared to come down heavily until I know what it is. Nor will I allow her current shenanigans to interfere with the factory project.
Sally, call for an ambulance. Tell them it's urgent.
What's happened?
Brian's just collapsed in the laundry.
She's not faking?
Not as far as I can tell.
You sure she's not having you on?
Well, her colour's bad, her pulse is feeble, and she's fighting for breath. What more do you want?
Birdsworth can produce all those symptoms at will, and she's hale and hearty.
I could let her die to convince you, Miss Bennett, but I would prefer not to oblige.